Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel for round 1, episode 3 of Jokes on Me. I have been sick for like the last week straight, so I have a little catching up to do with you here. So let's go ahead and get into these card flips and I'll let you know the plan. It is nowhere near Christmas and I do have my Christmas pajamas on. Also, Betty is rolling around in this vicinity if she makes her little grunting noises, but it is round 1, episode 3. I've got my cards here. I was going to use one of these little sticky notes as my game piece. Which one will stick out the most? Maybe this pink color? Okay, so I was right here on most popular and I only need to get back down to here at mood read. So usually I do 3 card flips. But if I end up at the end of my round, then the episode ends there. So let's see what we can do here. A king, so I do get to buy a book. And then an 8, which I do the opposite of the prompt for an 8, but that should get me to the end here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the prompt is short book. So I'll only need to read 2 books, a short book and a my choice, so this should be a fast episode. So first and foremost, I did flip a king, which means I get to haul a book. I am going to haul a book that I purchased and then also show you I got 2 books for my birthday, so I'm going to show you those. Those are kind of like free passes to me, like if somebody's going to give those to me, that doesn't count for my game. One was something I purchased with a gift card, but let's just get into it. So firstly, the thing that I am counting as my hauling a book for this episode is Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan, and I picked this up because the in-person book club I go to, so if you know my history with in-person book club, I started going about a year ago to a book club at a brewery here in town, and then just this winter, the lady who owns the brewery opened a bookstore in my town finally. So we previously had no bookstore, and so she's also hosting book clubs there, and I have been asking her, begging her to start a romance one, and so she finally is. So I had to pick this up and participate. It's not a very long book. I think it's kind of like a paranormal romance situation. It's not very long at all, and so I had to show up and show out and purchase this to read for book club in, this is the May book, and so the discussions are like the second week of the month always. So this is what I'm hauling for this episode. But then for my birthday, the thing I was sent, I already mentioned this in the last episode, but this is me like officially putting it on my shelf. Ruby from Ruby Red sent me Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. Here she is. And then I received a Barnes & Noble gift card, and so I took my happy little butt to Barnes & Noble, and I was looking for, we're gonna officially announce this at some point, but we're gonna be reading Junie B. Jones in the same style that we were reading Magic Tree House, and I have been put in charge of picking the nonfiction for when we do nonfiction for that. So I've been looking for more like self-help, personal development type nonfiction to go along with that series, and so we're probably going to be reading this one at some point. Hint, if you want to participate in that with us, maybe keep your eye out for this book as well. But I picked up The Perfection Trap by Thomas Curran, and the subtitle is Embracing the Power of Good Enough. Again, this is not a very long nonfiction, but it seemed like a good thing to add to our list there. So that is also going on my shelf with a direct plan to read. So I always feel good picking stuff up that it's like, okay, I am for sure gonna get to this. So there's the haul. Now let's get into the books. I do this every single time that I get an 8, it seems like, where I land on the prompt and I said out loud that I have to do the opposite, but then I was like, I have to read a short book. I know that I have to read a long book, and so the long book that I'm choosing, you can yell at me because this is not helpful towards getting through my physical TBR, because this is a reread, but I'm trying to participate in Danielle and Lizzie's throwback book club as often as I can, and I like begged them to do this series, so it was on my TBR like for the month, and it is the longest, it's longer than anything I had on my physical TBR. So I am doing Beautiful Creatures by Kami Garcia and Margaret Stohl. They are reading the whole, it's a 4-book series and a novella book. I don't think I'll be able to get through all of them. I'm gonna work them into Jokes on Me if I can. but I'm for sure reading this one. I'm actually already reading it. At the end of this clip, I'll tell you what I'm thinking of this so far. This comes in at 563 pages, by the way. And then for my choice, I'm trying to get this off my currently reading list. This is a book that I started during Squash That series and then just like never have had the chance to finish it yet, and it's gonna be so fast. So I'm going to finish Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. Again, I am like at least a third of the way through this, so, and I think I remember enough to just keep going. So this is gonna be my choice just to get it off my currently reading. So these are the only 2 books that I'm reading for this episode. And then the round is actually over. So this first round was pretty fast. I'm gonna go ahead, read through these, and get on with it. I am, like I said, about 200 pages into Beautiful Creatures already. This was like a favorite series of mine in high school. I do think so far that this is a little bit outdated. There's just been some descriptions that I'm like, not really how I would describe things these days. But I'm having fun, but I also think my fun is coming from nostalgia. So I am very curious what people who have never read this before are thinking. I haven't gone and looked at like any of the chats, what anyone has said. I know Martine already finished this. Maybe I should ask them what they thought, because I don't think they've ever read it before. But I am truthfully having a very good time. This is a YA paranormal romance where kind of a jock character, Ethan, lives in this town, and a new girl comes to town that lives at like this mysterious estate that the whole town kind of has, you know, negative feelings about Macon Ravenwood, who owns this estate, and this is his niece, I believe, who moves to town. And so she's this mysterious person and nobody likes her coming to town, and we're learning some like witchy magical things are happening with her and her family. And then Ethan and Lena find this locket that's almost making them have visions. It's so hard to explain, but like I said, my nostalgia here is so high that I think it's really good. So that's where I'm at so far. I had this whole week off of work because I was so sick. I ended up, so both my kids had different things, and then I caught both of those things plus strep throat. So I had pink eye, strep throat, and I got a little bit of a hand, foot, and mouth rash. That's what Betty had, because my immune system was so low. My kids have had hand, foot, and mouth like a couple times before, and I've never caught it as an adult. They say that like it's unlikely in adults, but I think just because my immune system was already so low, I do have a rash. I'm sorry if this grosses you out. Just on like my legs and feet so far, and I'm really hoping that doesn't continue to spread. But I'm home all day today. I am honestly feeling much better finally. I was like down for the count for a couple days, so I'm hoping to really just like push through a lot of this today, and then this will be so fast. So all that to say, this should be a fast episode as I'm 8 minutes into filming just the intro. I'll talk to you soon. Is that hi? Hi. So this morning I did end up finishing Beautiful Creatures, and I'm giving it 4 stars. That's what I originally had it rated on Goodreads. I just have a lot of nostalgia around this series, and so I think I forgot to mention that this whole story is kind of leading up to Lena, our main character's 16th birthday, because on her 16th birthday she's essentially supposed to be finding out whether she's good or evil, and so the whole book is leading up to her birthday, and I just had a really fun time. This did read really fast for the long book prompt because it is a YA and it is a reread, so it was nice to fulfill the prompt on something that wasn't like the hardest thing. And so now I only have half of like another really fast book to read, so hopefully I'll do that today. I am filming another video this weekend, like another vlog, so we'll just see how today shakes out. But this was a win. I'm kind of sad. I do have the itch to continue the series, and I just don't think I have time right now. So this may be a series that I need to come back to again like next year when I'm done with Jokes on Me and have read through my TBR. I am planning on that probably being a pretty big reread year, as well as I'm looking forward to more actively participating in things. You got your toothbrush? So I'll shelve this for now, but I do have an itch to continue. I am now like halfway through the half that I had left, so I'm like 3/4 of the way through this book, and it's interesting. It's not like good by any means. It is just like a smutty alien thing. essentially these human women somehow end up on this island, and our main character Georgie meets this alien Vectel, and they're like instantly mated, having spicy times. But I do feel like this whole book is gonna feel like an intro to this series as a whole, which is fine. There's a lot of books in this series, and I do already own the second one, but I feel like even by the end of this, I'm not gonna be able to form like full thoughts of what I feel about this series or this story. I feel like I'm going to feel like I need more, which is fine because I'm at least gonna read the second one also. I also think I'm gonna save, there is like a novella at the end of this that is not very long. This book is not very long at all to begin with, but I think I'm gonna save that novella for readathon purposes. So I'm like I'm probably closer to the end than I even think. Like this much is this book, and then this much is the novella after, so I really don't have much left to go. I'm hoping to finish this tonight, but I thought I'd better do at least one check-in before I go ahead and just read everything I had left. It's weird because I was already, you know, part of the way through this, but that's what we're doing here. Getting stuff off of my TBR. That's all this whole thing is. I thought I already filmed this outro, but apparently I didn't. I can't locate the footage, so it has been a while now that I'm trying to come to you and talk about this book. But I did finish Ice Planet Barbarians, and I landed on a 3-star for this, but I just want you all to know, because I feel like I've seen a few reviews and like people talking about this book saying that like, oh my gosh, it's actually good, and like this is not good writing or like a great extensive plot. It is really just a like fun, smutty time, which it does deserve credit for being fun and a good time, and you know, something to just jump into and not take too seriously, but it's not like the best thing ever. So I did land on a 3-star, and like I mentioned in the last clip, I will be continuing this. I do own the second book, and I do feel like because of how short this is, that even the context of a second book I need to even like form an opinion on the series, and if I want to continue, this just didn't feel like enough to really like no. But this also ends round 1 of season 2. So usually at the end of a round here, I like to tell you the stats from the round. And so this round in total took me 38 days from when I started reading the first book to when I ended reading the last book. And I read 7 books. Only 3 of those were from my physical TBR, which is not great. I earned and purchased 2 books, and I unhauled 1 book, and so my end TBR at the end of this round is 80 books. I need to pick it up. I feel the pressure. We're getting far into the year. I know I didn't start this like right in January, and that I really only started like mid-February, but I am definitely feeling the pressure that I need to pick up the pace a little bit. So hopefully you'll see a bunch of these coming up quick. I do earn a reward for each time I finish a round, which is supposed to be either taking a day off of work and taking a day to myself, or just finding somebody to watch the kids for a whole day and getting a day to myself. Regardless, I'm supposed to be getting a day to myself. I'm not sure where I'm going to work that in yet. I'll try to insert some information on that and what I end up doing in the next episode of round 2. But thank you so much for spending some time with me this week, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.